Beekeepers make new colonies by splitting off several frames of bees and combs of honey from other strong colonies. They shift these frames into empty bee boxes at a new location and introduce a new queen. With a honey and pollen flow, new colonies soon develop into a full, healthy working hive. You can become a beekeeper by purchasing a fully developed hive. It's important to get a vendor declaration when purchasing a new hive to ensure your purchase is disease-free. A number of Australian beekeepers specialise in the production of queen bees. These queens are used to re-queen colonies for the domestic and export markets. Some beekeepers rear their own queens. There are different races of bees used in Australia, and commercial queen bee breeders use artificial insemination as an aid to improve the quality of the queens. Beekeepers who breed queens take larvae from worker bee cells and place them into queen cell cups. These cups are then placed into queen rearing hives. The worker bees feed the larvae with royal jelly. Prior to the queen cells hatching, the beekeeper removes the cups and places them into small queenless hives for the queen to emerge. The emerged virgin queen mates in flight and returns to the hive. Then the beekeeper catches the mated queen and places her in a queen cage for shipping to a buyer. Some beekeepers sell packages of bees to other beekeepers in Australia or overseas. The bees are sold by weight. Package bees are harvested from established colonies by shaking the bees from the frames. They are then poured into a special gauze package. The package includes a mated queen, approximately 1 kilogram of worker bees, and sugar syrup food for the bees during transit. Package bees do not come with frames of honey or brood, and purchasing beekeepers need to have their own hives ready for their introduction. Australia is a major supplier of package bees to the world markets. Quick freight is essential, and aircraft are used for this purpose. The flowers of almost all plants need to be pollinated so they can develop new seeds from which new plants will grow. In this way, the species reproduces. Honeybees are excellent pollinators, as on the same field trip they usually work the same species, transferring the pollen from the male to the female parts of the flowers, thus ensuring pollination.
Many of our food crops, human food crops and animal food crops in Australia, are dependent on honeybee pollination. The production, for example, of the horticultural crop almonds is 100% dependent on honeybee pollination.
Plant breeders use honeybees for their plant breeding programs.
In '96 we've done our first experiment with bees on canola. We used only one hive roughly per hectare, and from the experimental work there that we did, it showed that over a distance you could actually use about 300 hives there, so probably the ideal is around about 3 hives per hectare. One would be a minimum I'd stick with. When we had the 100 hives on 100 hectares north of Perth in '96, we found a 18% difference in yield. We had the hives on one side of the crop, and then we watched the decrease in the yield going across the crop. It's only a slight decrease when you measure it, but it added up to around about 15% difference.
Honeybees are the most important pollinators of crops, replacing hand pollination. The Australian food chain, introduced since the establishment of European settlement, is almost entirely exotic, with 65% of introduced food and seed crops benefiting from honeybee pollination. Honeybees also play an important role in the horticultural industry, and beekeepers regularly hire bees to the growers.